Hello, my name is Representative Pam Powers Hanley, and I represent LD9 in Tucson in the Arizona House. Well, today is April 1st, and many of you have been asking me, what is the Arizona Legislature doing? Are you guys done or what? So, we're not done. Okay, so on March 23rd, the Arizona Legislature passed the skinny budget. That means it was a budget that was not too much different from the budget that we passed last year. And then we also included another $50 million for the coronavirus fight. And so then we adjourned. And so what that means is that the action in the House was paused. The motion that we passed was that we would come back on April 13 because at the time, people in the Trump administration and some other people in the legislature in Phoenix thought that the coronavirus would be all taken care of by Easter. And so it doesn't look like it's going to be taken care of by Easter. And so now there's some inkling in the yellow sheet that the Republicans realize that it might actually be worse by Easter than it is right now on April 1st. And so there are lots of options. It was interesting. I was reading the Cap Times today, and if we came back with a limited crew and did sine die, if we stopped the session for now and didn't hear any more bills, then there are a lot of bills on the cutting room floor that would die, which is not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. And in fact, the Cap Times is reporting that only 60 bills have been passed by both houses and signed into law. So that means that there could be 300 or so bills that would normally have passed this year that are not going to pass. And so it's actually not a bad thing that we would only pass 60 bills in a year. The legislature usually passes like 300 or more bills. And even when I was a voter, I would read that in the newspaper and think, 300 bills? What is all this, right? So what are these bills necessary? The Republicans are supposed to be, the party of small government, and they're the ones who are passing 300 bills a year. So what would not pass if we sine die soon? Well, there was probably 20 or so voter suppression laws. There was probably 10 or more rinky-dink education bills that were, this little pet project or that little pet project, or let's give this businessman a tax credit for, training a high school student in his office. And then there was also weaponizing pawnbrokers to let them be payday lenders. There was criminalizing people standing on the median. There was a bill to force us to buy license plates more often, just so 3M could sell more reflective coating. There was the Reefer Madness ballot initiative. I mean, there was a lot that has not passed yet. Oh, and lest I forget, the 18 tax giveaways also have not passed. So I am really hoping that we don't have to go back. There are a handful of bills that would be nice to have, but let's do those next year. If we do sine die now, we're leaving hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, which is a good thing. That's the money that they were going to give away in the tax breaks. And so we can always come back for a special session in the summer or in September if things really need to be taken care of. We've got the money sitting there. So I'm all for wrapping this up. I think it's unrealistic to think that we're coming back on April 13. 60 bills, as far as I'm concerned, is way better than 300. Let's hear it for small government, huh?